Welcome back. So now it's time for us to put together this user interface. So we're going to start slowly because there's a lot of things involved here, but we'll get there. Let's start by putting together the structure, at least that will allow us to have something similar to this structure as you see here. Let's go back to our code and remember that we have a scaffold, we have the app bar, and we have the A reader, the icon or text in this case, and then where we have the user information, of course, the circle avatar with the image. So when they click on this circle avatar, they can go and create profile dialog. Now, remembering again that we're inside of a scaffold, scaffold gives us so many things. Let's fold this a little bit so that we can have some space. You can do that. And let's open it back up so we don't get lost. So right where we finish our floating action, I can come down here and say body like this. Okay, this is where we're going to add the body, what you see here. So all of this, which is going to be for our body, we're going to use column again. Seems very handy because we want to have things top to bottom. And so we pass children, and this is where we do all the work. So first of all, I'm going to create a container just to organize things correctly. And then in this case here, I'm going to add the width to this container. I want to make sure that this width spans the entire window size. So there's a trick you can do. Instead of actually use the media query as we've seen before, or even add the actual value of 2000 or whatever you want to add, we're just going to say double dot infinity as such. Okay, that just means take up as much space as you need. And then I'm going to put child because the container needs to have a child. We're going to add another container. So I'm going to say container as such, another child like this. So what are we going to pass here? Well, what we want to do is we want to add a text such as this. Now, there's different ways to do this. We can put a bunch of different text widgets, so the top one and the bottom one, and try to make it so that it looks exactly like this. Now, it's very possible, but I'm going to show you yet another widget called text span, or actually rich text, which includes text span. For a child here, I'm going to say rich text as such. And always remember, you can always hover over and read more about that particular widget. So hover over, wait a second, then go like this, you can start reading. It says here that it creates a paragraph of rich text, right? It has some information. The rich text, as the name implies, gives us more flexibility in terms of how to organize the text we want to add. As you can see here, we have this field or property that needs to be passed, which is going to be a text. Now, inside of text here, I'm going to pass another widget called text span. So I'm going to say text span. For our text span here, the beauty is that we can pass children because it allows us to pass a lot of other texts inside of it. So that's the beauty. So the first thing I'm going to pass here is another text span. I'm going to say text span as such, text. I'm going to just add something that says now, next I'm going to copy this text span because remember we're inside of this rich text, which then we pass another text span, which then we pass text span, and we have children there. So we can pass as many children that we want, text spans we want. And the next one, it's going to say something right now, dot, dot, dot. All right, let's see how this looks. And you can see it says your rating. That's not what I wanted to say. Let's say your reading. You probably saw that and said, what is Paulo doing? Okay, let's save again to make sure that we're able to see what we're looking for here. Better, in a way, it says your reading activity right now. Now, the idea really is to have something that looks something like this. That's what we want, okay? So how do we do this? So it says your reading, and then there's a break line to say activity right now. And then we also have this bold right now there. Okay, these are small things to specify what we want, but it's important to understand how to manipulate our texts, text spans, or any widget so that we can maximize the look and feel of our applications. So I'm going to show you that. So back to our code, the first thing we need to do is right about there where it says your reading, we want to actually break it. To break, we just say \n to say break to a new line. So this activity is going to go down to a new line and hopefully to look something like this. Your reading activity right now. So the right now as well as the asterisks have to be bold. Well, we know how to do that. Just pass a style, text style as such, and then say font weight. We want this to be font bold. If you start typing font bold before you even finish the whole typing, you should be helped right away. All right, there we go. Let me make sure that I finish this off with something like this and like this. There we go. Save like that. Should be good. And okay, it's looking better, right? You can see here it says you're reading activity right now. There's no spacing there. We can do that if we wanted to by just coming up here and give that little space there. That should be good. All right. The other thing we want to happen is we want to give some sort of a different feel and color to start with on this text here. Okay. So what I'm going to do inside of our rich text, look at this. I can go ahead and say something like this. Actually, inside of our span here, before we have the children, let's go ahead and add a text or style rather. And I'm going to say, I'm going to use the theme of, and in this case, I just want this to say, go the text theme, because there's different themes we can get. We can get the text button theme, text selection theme, and so many, accent theme or accent text themes and so forth. So this is very handy when you want to have a very uniform look and feel to your app. So there we go, the text theme. I'm going to go ahead and I want the headline 5. So look how awesome this is. I don't have to type the whole thing headline, right? So I can say HEA or just H5 like this, or H1, depending which one I want. Very nice. So I can just hit enter and there you have it. Let's go ahead and save this. And voila. Just like that, you can see it looks way better. It's nice and beautiful and makes me happy. Let's give some spacing here. Now remember, this is a little bit smaller. The reason why is because this is actually at 100% zoom. And this is why this one here is at over 100% zoom. Okay. So let's put some space there. How do we do that? Well, we can go back to our code, of course, and we know we're inside of a column. What we can do, I'm actually going to get rid of this guy here, just because it's not necessary at this point. So let's extract or remove that widget, because this container is going to contain all this text. What we can also do, let's add a margin there. I'm going to say const edge insects. Instead of all, let's just say only, and I'm going to say top. I want top to be about 12, and let's say left, I want it also to be about 12, like that. Let's save this so to move things a little bit. All right, it's looking much better, pretty much like this. That's very good. All right, so we've done it. We've created the first part of our main screen here.